Welcome to Talks with Tracy, with certified hypnotherapist, life coach, and licensed mental health professional, Tracy Claremont. Tracy will share her healing journey and explore the many meaningful alternative healing methods in our world today that will support you in doing your own deepest emotional healing. So please welcome the host of Talks with Tracy, Tracy Claremont. Let the suffering end and the healing begin.
Hello and welcome to Talks with Tracy. I am your host, Tracy Claremont, coming to you live on the Bold Brave Television Network. I'm so excited to be here, and I want to say thank you to Bold Brave Television for having me. So today I have my first returning guest, Katie Howard, Reiki Master. She'll be joining us to visit in just a few minutes, but first I just have a little bit of business to take care of, so to speak. So I have said many times on this show that I am a work in progress, and this is kind of a steep learning curve. I'm learning so much every time I do a show. So last week, I was able to answer viewer questions, which I had so much fun doing, and I really enjoyed that. And during the show, I was so excited that a viewer put a chat message up on the screen, and when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, a chat message. That's so amazing. It said, good afternoon. Now, in that moment, I read the message, and then so my mind is kind of like reading the message, and then I go and I see that it was from somebody who I didn't know, which was also exciting to me. In the past, I've had little chat messages go up there, but they're from like my husband and from my friends. My friend Katie had put one up there. But this was from somebody I didn't know. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And it was really exciting for me. And then I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, I'm not talking anymore. So I jumped right back into what I was talking about, and I didn't even acknowledge the chat. So again, I'm learning, I'm working on this. And during the break, Caleb, our engineer, he told me that when there's a chat that goes up, that's called fan engagement. So then I was like, what? Oh my gosh, I can have fans? That is so crazy. So yeah, I was a little thrown off. So I wanted to take today to thank John Smith. If you're watching, or if you watch this later, I just want to say I really appreciated that chat. It was super exciting for me, and I appreciate you for watching. So along the topic of fans, I would like to say hello to my lifelong super fan, my mom. So I've mentioned her on the show before. She is unconditional love and acceptance incarnate in the flesh, right? And she's always been such a great supporter of me, and she watches the show, and I love and adore her. So, do you want to see a picture of her? I bet you do. That is my mom right there. Isn't she beautiful? She's watching my show at my house. That's my cat, Sally, also watching the show. I have a little girl who loves Nightmare Before Christmas. So we have a boy cat named Jack and a girl cat named Sally. And that is my mom and Sally watching the show. So I want to say hello to my mom and just thank her for all the love and support she gives. She's so amazing. Thank you, Caleb, for putting that up. All right, so today I have guest Katie Howard, Reiki Master, back to visit with me. I'm so happy to have her back. I have a core group of guests that I like to turn to discuss different topics that come up in healing. I mean, I completely love to hear how they guide healing. Oh, look at that. I got a chat message. So beautiful. That happens to be from my sister Hiccups. Thank you, Hiccups. Yes, our mama is beautiful. So, yes, I have a core group of guests that I like to have come on the show, returning guests, and will be coming when we want to talk about different topics. And Katie is so wonderful about sharing her own personal experience. She's like an open book, and I love that. In fact, I got feedback from people who watched her appearance the first time on the show, really positive feedback that they resonated with her story and they were inspired to do their healing. I had one person say that they scheduled hypnotherapy after seeing her show because they wanted to have that same experience of healing that Katie had spoke of when she was on the last show. So, that's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire, and Katie is such a great example of that. And I know that she will be the first to say that she is human and she is full of human experiences, good and bad, and in the middle. And I always like to say that we are souls having a human experience. And I also know that she would agree with that. So, Katie is back to share with us once again her own experience in healing. And she is amazing. So, please welcome back Katie Howard. Good morning.
Hey,
Hi.
morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing good. I am doing so good. Thank you so much for coming back today and being with us. I'm so happy and excited to talk to you. Last time you were on, you were actually joining us from a hospital waiting area, right? Because your daughter was having a baby.
Yes, yep, she
Yep.
did.
And you have a beautiful grandson. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, you're
having me back.
welcome. Oh, of course. I'm so happy to have you. So now you are a Reiki master and you're very intuitive. You do tarot card readings. There's lots of different ways that you guide people in healing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And as I said, your previous experience, it just inspired uh, people to do their healing. And that was the sharing that you, um, that you did about your own story. And I really appreciated that. Sometimes we don't even know the people who we reach or the people who we touch or inspire. And so I do want you to know that you did inspire people, and that's such an amazing thing. That's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. I mean, if I can inspire one person, then I've accomplished my purpose. So,
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I feel the same way about that. So as we talk today, feel free to you know talk about the way you guide people and things like that. Oh, we
good
got another chat
morning.
message.
Good morning,
Uh,
Lois. Mm,
so as we talk, feel free to talk about how you guide people and whatnot. But we'd love to hear that. I kind of like to jump straight into some things that I just have rolling around in my mind lately. Some topics that I'd really like to talk with you about. So um, I was wondering if we could just like jump right into the getting naked part and talk about some topics that I've been sharing lately. On last week's show, I spoke about challenges that cause suffering in our lifetime and like reoccurring challenges that present themselves to us, like those things that where people say, I always choose the wrong man, or why does this keep happening to me? Those kind of things, that challenges that repeat themselves. And I know I have certainly had repeating patterns in my own life experience, especially around relationships. So, Lisa Adams, psychic medium, when she was on, she said that these challenges will repeat themselves until we heal them, right? Or, we all have free will. We can stay stuck, or we can heal them, but they will repeat themselves because we're meant to learn from them. So, I was wondering, Katie, like, can you share any experience with reoccurring challenges or repeating patterns that you've experienced in your lifetime?
yeah. I think probably one of the biggest ones is being a people pleaser and always wanting to make people happy. Um,
Mm.
even at my own, at my own, um, like even if it hurts me to do that to make somebody happy, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, like
And
at your own expense.
Right, that's the word I was looking for.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, at my own expense, just to make sure that everyone around me is happy. Um, and
Mhm.
inside, I was just miserable and trying to figure out, like, why do I keep doing this? Why? Why do I
Mhm.
have this need to fulfill everybody else's need and not my own? Um, so
Mhm.
that was a struggle, like most of my life. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
45, and it's taken me 42 years to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing that I've mentioned before that, and Lisa Adams also mentioned that we don't actually just jump into the healing with our very first experience of the suffering, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this people pleasing pattern that created suffering and was a challenge for you. You said that that was throughout your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even thinking back to when I was a child, just
Mm.
wanting to make people happy, wanting to feel noticed. Um, and because I felt like I was invisible. So, just trying to do whatever I could to get some sort of attention. Um,
Mm.
and I figured out early that, well, if I can make them happy doing what they want, you know, then maybe I'll feel better about myself, which just backfired.
Mhm.
Like it
Yeah,
didn't work.
that backfired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes um, when we look back into our past, we can make connections, right, about experiences and emotions attached to experiences in our childhood that create emotion that we then carry with us. So you said that you people pleased to be noticed. Was there any other reason for people pleasing, like in your early experience in your childhood experience? Sometimes it's like related to safety or other things like that.
Yeah, I think um that it was just a combination of everything, like safety, wanting to be loved, scared to be loved, not good enough. I think the feeling of not good enough um, just kind of overtook my entire life. I mean, it
Mm,
just took over, and that is the session that you helped me with that really just
mhm,
shifted the entire thing with the hypnotherapy. Um,
mm,
all of that self doubt and all of that just kind of spun out of control. Like it just
mm,
and repeating patterns over and over, and not knowing what I'm doing wrong, or not paying attention enough, or not really looking inside. So it
right.
was a
Not
struggle.
not going inward immediately.
Yeah.
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 So you had a belief about yourself, a core belief about yourself about not being enough, which caused you to behave in a way late throughout your life as though you didn't matter,
Right.
and maybe that other people mattered more than you did,
Yep.
and then neglect your own needs and um, even your wants, your desires, all of those kind of things that interest you, caused you to just neglect all those things and focus on other people. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. It's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Nice. I think that's a really common thing. There's so many experiences in our from childhood that people have where they've received, where they've had experiences that cause them to develop a belief of not enough, not enoughness, as Shirley Mitchell would say. Not worthy of love and kindness and affection, and it really drives their behaviors and their choices and their circumstances in life. And I would say that those challenges, those reoccurring challenges that come uh, as a result of those kind of beliefs, they're all centered around lessons that we're meant to learn in our lifetime,
Right.
right? Yeah. So do you have an idea of what lesson was meant to come out of that? What learning was meant to come out of that?
I think just, learning to love myself the way that I am and to invest in myself the way that I invest in other people. And
Mhm.
that was a hard lesson. I mean, even though, it was for my highest good, to look inside, that it was really, really painful for me to go through the process of trying to figure out why. I mean, and like the word why, when we, ask ourselves why, it just gets deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm.
just,
Okay.
why am I doing this? Okay, well, here's
Mhm.
one answer. Okay, well, why did I do that though? Do you know what I mean? Like it just
Mhm.
kind of spins into
Right.
this why. But being invested in myself and knowing like I need to be happy. Like I don't need to date somebody just because I don't want to hurt his feelings. Like I mean, it
Right,
got to that
right.
point where it was just like, sure, just because I didn't want to hurt the feelings, but inside I was like, this is, whack. What is wrong with you? So
Oh, I love
it was
that.
a
So,
long,
I would love to like go more into that with the asking why and what you found as you asked why, but it's already time to take a commercial break. So, let's talk about more than when we come back from the break about that. So yeah, that'll be great. We are watching Talks with Tracy on Bold Brave Television Network. Please join Katie and I for our ongoing conversation when we come back in a couple of minutes.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Talks with Tracy. I'm your host, Tracy Claremont, coming to you live on the Bold Brave Television Network. I am here with Katie Howard today, Reiki master and friend to the show. I am so happy to have her. She was just sharing with us, and we were talking about reoccurring challenges, patterns of challenge that reoccur in our lifetimes, and I asked her like what that looked like for her, if she had any of that. She was talking about her issues with people pleasing that have created pain and suffering in her lifetime, and ultimately was part of a larger lesson to be learned. But Katie, when we were finishing up in our last segment, first off, you said that you even did people pleasing and dating people, saying yes to dating people, and I think that's just the cutest thing, because then you say yes to a date, and then you have to figure out how to get out of it, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, how do
Let's
I
see.
do this? What did I do? Yeah, horrible.
Oh, that's so funny. So, you know, uh, you said that you started to ask yourself why, and I think that's so important to really start talking to yourself. Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? Why does this keep showing itself in my life? What is this pattern meant to teach me? And you said that you started asking yourself that question, why? Can you talk a little bit more about that and like what you were finding when you started asking the question?
Yeah. So I would, do this stuff, people pleasing, and it ultimately it was like killing me inside. Like it just, like the emotions and feelings that I was feeling, I hated it. Like I just was
Mm,
this internal fight. Um, and so I just had to start asking myself, why do you do this? Why do you do this to
mm,
yourself? It's going to hurt, and I just couldn't get out of that, couldn't get out of it. And it just got to the point where it was just too much. It was just, I lost myself. I didn't even know who I was because I was too busy
mm,
trying to please everybody and be a perfectionist and go over and beyond in my education. And you know what I mean? Just all of this stuff. And it was just
mm,
killing me. So I started to ask myself why. Or, and then when I did, it just really made me aware of, more aware and to have intention with the people that I interact with my own, with my highest self, forefront. Like how can I do that? Why do I do this? Um, yeah. So
mhm.
just asking myself why over and over and over, and it just gets deeper and
Right.
deeper and deeper.
Yeah,
Um,
and those kind of behaviors in relationship, they can turn out to be quite dangerous, right? When you're just always giving, 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 and in a way we I never want to say that we want people to mistreat us. That's not what I'm saying, but we do train people how they can treat us, right? By
yeah.
allowing them to treat us in a way that takes advantage of us, right? Where they're always asking for more, and we're always trying to make everybody
Yeah.
happy and whatnot. So tell me, like, what when you started to say, why am I doing this? What were some of the first steps you took in changing your behavior? Like, I did you start setting limits or saying no, or what did you start to do to kind of find your voice?
Yeah. So, it was about 3 years ago, when I, had this spiritual awakening, or whatever you want to call it, where everything just kind of came crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really started to, I was journaling a lot, like trying to figure out everything. And I did, I started saying no to people, which was really, really hard for me, like super hard. Um, and then that created a whole nother, issue of loss. Like people
Mm.
getting upset with me for saying no, or you're being selfish, or why you've done it
Oh,
before, like all of this stuff.
right.
So,
So
and
why
them
why do
not,
you think somebody why do you think people would say that you were being selfish? Like, tell me more about that. What do you think their purpose in saying that you were being selfish to even put your own wants and needs um, up there on the list?
I think because I was giving so much.
Hmm.
And I had, like you said earlier, I had like trained these people in my life to just take
Hmm.
from me. And I would just give and give. And having that limitation just really shifted a lot of relationships. I mean, like close, intimate relationships, friend in friendships that I've had for over 30 years. Um,
Mm.
it just was really mind blowing, like how much,
Wow.
I was doing for other people and ignoring my own
Right.
everything.
Can you give me an example of you mentioned intimate relationships and friendships. Can you kind of talk about the friendship end of things? And again, uh, like I said, and what like you said, we kind of train people how to treat us in relationship, and there will be those people out there who are more than happy to take and take and take and have you serve them, right? So when we have also your belief about not enough, you don't matter, those kind of beliefs driving you forward, we can find ourselves in those unhealthy relationships. So can you give us an example of what you mean by a friendship, like what a friendship would look like or had looked like for you?
Yeah. So, just really being like the person's like right hand man, like
Mm.
if they didn't want to drive, well, Katie will drive, I'll drive, even though I
Mm.
don't want to drive. I hate driving, but okay, I'll drive.
Mm-hmm.
Or, just stuff that yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Just,
fine.
or
I
like,
think
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, um, or like even, relationships where people will say, I've had quite a few people tell me, well, you just need to heal. You just need to go heal and then come back and everything will be fine. And it's like, I'm the only one that needs to heal here. You know what I mean? Like then it was all put on me that again, like this is all you, but I'm going to take this, but you need to go heal. I'm perfect. So go figure it out type of deal. And then being the people pleaser
Right.
and the overachiever, I was just like, oh my God, you're right. You know what I mean? Like it just completely,
Mm-hmm.
I completely lost myself in every
Right.
relationship. Um,
Mm.
all of it. Didn't know my favorite color. Don't even know what kind of food I like. Like every
Um,
aspect. I had no idea who I was because I was too busy
yeah.
figuring out everybody else to make them happy. Yeah.
Right. I can really relate to that very much so. And your example of, somebody saying, "Well, go do your healing and fix yourself so that we can move on." That I just like to point out that that is not support, right? That is
Right.
actually um, um, kind of gaslighting, right? Where
Right.
you're
Yeah.
expressing a need and you're having an issue, and what you get in return is, yeah, you are the problem. You need to go fix yourself. Is that what you're saying? Kind of happened to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just kind of reiterates like you're not good enough. Like you're
Hmm.
gonna have to keep doing work and work. And I know, I mean, our healing is lifelong, but like when
Right.
somebody that you love and trust
Mm.
does those things, it just kind of reiterates like you aren't good enough. Like
Hmm.
you got to make a
Right.
choice. Like it literally was killing
Hmm.
me, like dragging me down.
Right.
And
And
I just couldn't do it.
I think that happens when um, a person wants to keep you where you are, right?
Right.
Because they're very comfortable with you serving them and doing everything for them, right? So
Right.
they're not going to support that, because if it's supported, then what happens? Then you change it, right? And people who truly love and support you will also be willing to or they'll be happy for you, actually,
Right.
when you do the positive change, and when you do that healing. That's what a kind, loving relationship is about. But again, I agree. So often, people with people pleasing issues, with not enough issues, I don't matter, beliefs. I don't want to say issues. I actually want to say beliefs based on their experience. Often find themselves in these kind of situations. I know, just like was the same way, and it showed itself in all sorts of relationships. It showed this challenge presented itself to me in friendships, in work relationships, certainly in intimate relationships, and it shows itself in the silliest of ways. I remember one time I had a friend for a very long time who she always needed to be better than me. It was like we were always in competition, only I wasn't competing. And I was like, okay, well, that's who she is. That's all right. Um, I'll accept that. And I never did stand up for myself. And there was this one time when she and I showed up to a gathering, um, like a feast, and we had both brought salads, and we brought the same salad because we did, you know, she gave me the recipe. I didn't know she was bringing it. Anyway, we brought the same salad, and as we're walking in, she looks at me and she says, "Well, we know mine's going to be better." And that's just a little silly example of ways, like to put somebody back in their
Gabby.
place in
Right.
unhealthy relationships, right? And I will say, my daughter Amanda spent that entire feast loudly saying how great my salad was and how it was the best salad there. And I was like, Amanda, you don't have to do that. Please don't. It's okay. Because I
He's
didn't
like,
like
I got
attention
you,
drawn
mom.
to
I
me.
got you.
Oh, she had my back. Anyway, so I would love to continue to talk about this. It's already time to take another commercial break. So, again, when we come back, we will be talking with Katie, sharing more about these reoccurring challenges that come up in our lives, and how we deal with them, and how Katie's dealt with them. So, you're watching Talks with Tracy on Bold Brave Television. Please join us after the break.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Talks with Tracy with me, Tracy Claremont, coming to you live on the Bold Brave Television Network. I am visiting with Reiki healer and friend of the show, Katie Howard, today, and she's been sharing her own experience and reoccurring challenges that have presented themselves in her lifetime, and how she came to a place of healing those. And, I was just giving examples of how this pattern of behavior of people pleasing that you said is the result of core beliefs about having to make other people happy, and not mattering yourself, and not being enough. How all of that it can show itself in all different relationships and friendships and in the workplace. I know, Katie, I worked with you myself, and you know, uh, we're people who have an inner drive to heal in the world. And it actually found us, both of us, in a place where we really accepted the challenge, and we started working in the field of child protection together. And I know that you and I had a similar drive to really heal suffering in that way. I mean, children who have been abused and neglected and in foster care are absolutely in need of love and support and kindness. And you found yourself in that field as well. And again, our stories are very similar in that I think that each of us worked ourselves like dogs, right? In that job to a point
Absolutely.
where we had to change that. We couldn't do that anymore, right? So can you talk a little bit about how it showed itself in friendships and intimate relationship in the workplace?
Yeah. It's, I mean, going over and beyond, and really trying to make a difference. In the process of all of that, um, I neglected my own family, my
Oh.
own self,
Mm.
at the expense of, my children missing milestones,
Mm.
just really, really looking at the outside to fill some sort of void that I was having.
Mhm.
And that was just across the board. I mean, work, supervisors, coworkers, like I just had to make it better, and not even knowing why. Like not even knowing,
Right.
why are you doing that? Why do you have the need to do that? Um,
Right. What? And you were a fixer, right? You were trying to fix all these things for other people, and really, when it comes down to it, we really can only fix ourselves, and it's not our place to fix other people, right? We can support
yes,
people, but we can't take responsibility and be the fixer of their issues. And again, we're just spinning our wheels if we try to do that, and we're exhausting ourselves in the effort because we're not the answer to other people's suffering. We're only the answer to our own suffering.
right.
So this brought you to a place of being just kind of wiped out and depleted. Is that right?
Yeah, I just was completely depleted. I like paralyzed almost, like I just couldn't
Mm.
even process anything. I just was to a point where something had to change, like the universe was
Mhm.
like pushing me. And there was a point where I couldn't deny what the universe or the creator was trying to do for me. Like there
Mhm.
was no way for me to back off and put it, keep putting it behind me. Like, I'll deal with that when when I'm ready or whatever. Like the universe was like, you're going to be ready now. And
Mhm.
it just really, it broke me open, to a point
Mhm.
where everything in my life shifted. Um, it got so bad that I just was like, I went to school and have all this training and did all this stuff, and it was for nothing, like I don't even need any of this stuff. I don't.
Mm.
Yeah. And it just literally broke me down. Just in a matter of
Right.
months, I lost so many people in my life, um,
Okay.
because I just
Meaning
finally
meaning how?
just, saying no. Like, you can't treat me that way
Mm.
anymore. You can't put your life as my responsibility. As much as
Mhm.
I want to be able to help you and do all of that, I'm dying inside and I am not happy, and I deserve to be
Mhm.
happy. I live this life and I want to be happy. And the only way for me to be happy is to change that pattern that I knew that I kept doing over and over. And every time I would go to do it, or I'd want to make them happy, I would think of the
Mm-hmm.
pain, that emotion inside that I had the last time I did this. And I just couldn't
Mm,
do it anymore. I always had to remember how I felt the last time. And that is what got me through to say no, because I just don't want to feel
okay.
icky. I don't want to feel empty. I don't want to feel like I'm nothing. Um,
Right.
and so
Right.
that was
And you said
the biggest.
then you lost people?
Yeah, I lost friendships, intimate relationships, family members, just, they're just,
Mm,
it just was really, it was really hard. It was really hard for me. And I think that one of the biggest things was figuring out my own worth, and
mm,
knowing that I didn't deserve any of that. And that was a long, long road for me. Getting from up here down to my heart was the biggest journey ever to get to. Um, but
right.
once I started, making these different changes, like, okay, this approach did not work last time. And I remember how it made me feel, and it probably made that person feel bad too. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I can't. I want to be better than that. I just want to be able to heal myself so I can continue and move on with my purpose of why I'm on this earth forefront. I want to move towards why I'm here. And I couldn't do
Right.
that when I was, unhealthy and unhealed. There was just no way.
Right. And would you say I've described a similar process of my own, and I've spoken about how just terrified I was in the midst of it when I finally decided I have to do this for myself. It was overwhelmingly
Yeah.
frightening because
Yes.
of the things like you're talking about, the way people would react and the resistance that would come, and people trying who didn't support me trying to um, get me trying telling me things like I'm selfish and I'm destroying the family and I'm doing
Yep.
things like this, right? When really I'm just like I am just trying to live for myself, and that was really terrifying for me. There were many
Mhm.
moments where I um, really had to ask myself if I was worth it, right?
Yep.
Did you have moments like that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, my brain or the ego would kick in and say, like, you're not worth it. Look at
Mm,
your life. Look at the timeline here. Like everything has shown you, like you're just not worth it, Katie.
mm,
And so finding that self-worth of, you know what, I am worth it. I've
mm-hmm.
been through some pretty hard times, and I still, like there hasn't been any obstacle that I haven't been able to get over. Like all the goals that I've put in place for myself, I've accomplished every one of them. And that again just shows like the overachieving, but it also, shows that I am worth it, and that I need to I need to love myself more, because then all of this
Mm-hmm.
external stuff won't I won't be looking to the external stuff to feel this void inside of me. Um, yeah,
Right.
it's a
Yeah, you
super
won't be looking outside of
right,
yourself to fill that void, because really the
right,
answers lie
right,
within
and
ourselves.
needing to be whole. Like I want to be whole. I want to be a whole person. I don't want a male to that I have to rely on to make me feel better. That's not their responsibility. That's mine.
Right.
So in order for me to do that, I have to be whole. And in order to be whole, I
Hmm.
have to heal. And in order to heal, I got to address the bad stuff that I think about myself, or
Hmm.
that I've been
Right. The
conditioned to
emotion and
believe. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Conditioned to believe. Oh, I love the way you say that, because that's
yeah.
absolutely what happens is conditioning from that comes from our past experience that develops those beliefs about ourselves um, that create the challenges and the reoccurring challenges and whatnot that happen in our life. And it's I've also said this on the show. We really have to be, and this is a hard thing, I don't want to make it sound like it's easy at all, but we really have to be willing to let those people go who are not willing to or are unable to support us in the way we need to be supported. And a lot of times that is really painful and overwhelmingly frightening, and people are you know, not wanting to do it. It's a painful process, and you know, sometimes it's a surprise what people we actually have to let go of.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's people that we thought would support us, and then they turn out to not be supportive, and we
Yeah.
have to be okay with that and accept that, because we're our own greatest healers, right? You're your own greatest
Right.
healer. And again, those things that are other people's issues, they're not ours to heal. That's theirs to heal. We are not the providers of all things to all people. We can only provide for ourselves. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. So um, again, it's already time to take a brief commercial break, and when we return, Katie, I'd love for you to talk about your life post people pleasing emotional healing. uh, you know that what your life looks like now after you've done the work. So please. Oh, and also I'd like you to talk about how you continue on in your growth, right? Your soulful growth, your spiritual growth, how you stay on track with that. So we are going to take another commercial break. Please stay tuned. You're watching Talks with Tracy on Bold Brave Television Network.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to Talks with Tracy with me, Tracy Claremont, coming to you live on Bold Brave Television Network. We have been talking to the amazing Katie Howard, Reiki Master. She's just been doing such a great job of being so candid and open and sharing. Katie, thank you so much for that. I think it's just so important that we all connect in sameness. We're all having this human experience, and we're all facing challenges, and you're so relatable. I know that I can certainly relate to your story, to your journey, and I'm sure that there are other people out there who can relate as well, and really be inspired by you. So thank you so much for sharing that. I mentioned last week Shira Lee Mitchell, who's a spiritual adventurer and has been on the show. She said that if we don't experience the pain of these challenges, then we never get to experience the beauty of expansion. that comes from the healing,
Yes.
right? And comes from the lessons. So now I believe you are somebody who has experienced the beauty of expansion and in all this that you've gone through. So can you share a little bit about like what life after, like, post recovery from people pleasing is like for you?
Yeah, yeah. First, I just want to say that, being on your show, is really healing for me because,
Oh,
being
beautiful.
a people pleaser or a perfectionist, I don't want people to know what I went through, like I need to have it all together. I need to, you
Oh.
know, you know what I mean? Like, and so being able to share my story, is healing for me, that I'm
Mm.
speaking about it when I wouldn't ever do that before.
Oh,
Um,
wow, beautiful. Well, you do it so
yeah,
freely. You'd never know that that wasn't something that you haven't done repeatedly.
yeah, no, I just absolutely not. But so it's amazing. And I also want to say, like the challenges and the obstacles that we face in our life, that's the path. That's the journey, through
Mm,
all of that, and being able to overcome that, is the most beautiful thing.
mm.
um, Healing and working through that and knowing your own worth and loving yourself. um, it's
Right, and
like you're climbing.
I've always said it feels horrible when you're doing the work, right? When you're in the midst of it, but on the other side is fulfillment and joy and freedom. Not to say that you won't have continued challenges, because I know you mentioned that you're a work in progress, just like I am. You have continued challenges,
Yeah.
but doing that healing does get you to a place of, a higher vibration, right?
Yeah, it really does. And when we know that there's a shift coming, in our life, or we're about to level up and take the higher timeline for who we are, things get chaotic. Like you kind of dig your
Mhm.
feet into the ground, things are going to change, things kind of seem out of
Mhm.
control. And then when you just surrender, and say, okay, it's time, I have to do this. And it's just like climbing a mountain. And once you're over that top, it's
Mhm.
it's just, I can't even explain it. Like
Right.
you
It's
just
the
love deeper.
expansion.
It's, yeah, like you just understand a lot more. You just get it, and you just love more. And you're grateful for even the worst experiences that you've been through.
Right.
Like I am so grateful because it's brought me to where I am now. um and I know that I'm on the right path. I know that, like my soul, my higher self tells me, you're doing it, you're just keep moving forward. um there's
Right.
just no other way.
Often thought, post healing, that I have almost wanted to go back and thank those people who created such challenge, like to put me in a position and a circumstance where I had to either stay within that suffering or move forward. I've almost wanted to go and say, thank you so much. And I have thanked, you know, creator for those challenges that brought me to this place, but I haven't quite gone to thank the people who caused the suffering, because I'm not sure they would understand
Understand.
that I'm not
Yep.
being sarcastic or rude. So I
Right.
haven't done that, but I do give thanks all the time for the challenges and the growth that came from the challenges and the suffering. Right.
Absolutely. It's just like a reverence, like this reverence that I have for everything and anything that was put in my path to expand
Mhm.
my soul and to grow and to heal. um, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change
Right.
anything. And there's been, rapes and molestations and physical
Awful
beatings
things.
and awful things that I just wouldn't be where I am. And so it's a deep reverence of just, I got you. I got it. Like
Wow,
I
that's
get it.
so beautiful. So, Katie, please tell us how. we can get a hold of you if we'd like a Reiki session with you or a reading. How do people reach you?
Okay, so I have a Facebook page under Kate Howard. And also my cell phone number is 406 926 9697. You can call me, text me, whatever. They can ask you, you can give them my number. I'm not hard to find. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show again, and I can't wait to have you back. And I really appreciate your candid sharing and your openness and all the beauty that you bring to the world. I really do. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too. All right. So, and thank you everyone for watching today. I really appreciate that. Next week, I will be visiting with Nikki Lund, and she is also a Reiki healer. And Nikki Lund, she'll be sharing her personal story of how she is using Reiki to heal breast cancer. So that will be such a beautiful story, inspiring story. I can't wait to visit with her. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I'd love to hear from you. I can be reached via email at hypnowithtracy@yahoo.com or via my website, tracyclaremonthypnotherapy.com. So thank you so much for watching Talks with Tracy. I have been coming to you live on Bold Brave Television, and I'll be back again next week. So please join me for that. Thanks.
This has been Talks with Tracy. Join us each week as Tracy and her guests will come together and realize that underneath it all, we are all the same and never alone. So join us each week and let Talks with Tracy be your safe place to land in your healing journey. Right here, Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV.